Cleveland Browns got a big game against the Ravens coming up this weekend in Baltimore, and it felt like a good time to bring in Mary Kay Cabot, who covers the Cleveland Browns for Cleveland.com, the Cleveland Plain Dealer. How is morale there, Mary Kay?
It's okay. I actually think that Rex Ryan did the Browns a huge favor and Baker Mayfield a big favor by saying he was overrated as hell. Baker needs that. He needs that fire lit under him to get really motivated and to get his game face on. And I actually think he's really going to come out fighting on Sunday. But
I also think that there is some truth, some validity to what Rex was saying. I just made the headlines that when he says that he's overrated as hell, then everybody was like a gasp, like, and then I go, okay, now explain yourself. And then he said some things that I thought were accurate. Now, do you think the Browns look at that, or Baker looks at that and says, you know what, maybe there is some truth in what he was pointing out here?
There is some truth to some of the things that are happening to Baker on the field this year. I think defensive coordinators, and he has faced some really good ones, have caught up to him a little bit. And they're doing things like confusing him at the line of scrimmage. They're flushing him to the right. But actually the Ravens are giving up a lot of yards this year, and I think there will be opportunities for him to hit the big plays, which he really needs to do that. He needs to get the ball in the hands of Odell, of Jarvis, and he needs to get his confidence back a little bit, and I actually think this is a week that he might be able to do that.
Why is Freddie Kitchens so reluctant to give up the play calling?
I think that he feels that that's not really the issue. I think he looks out there and sees an offense that's coming together, new personnel, new coaches, tweaked schemes, blending schemes, and I think he just feels like they're a play or two away. I think he looks at that goal line stand and says, hey, if Baker hits Jarvis on that underneath route instead of trying to hit Demetrius Harris up top in the back of the end zone, they win the game. No one's complaining.
Should we reset our expectations for this team?
I'll let you know after Sunday. If they win, if they win on Sunday, they're 2-2. They're tied for first in the AFC North, and they're actually ahead because they will have beaten the Ravens and be ahead of them in the standings. And then when you look at the second half of the season, not only are they getting Kareem Hunt back, they're getting Antonio Callaway back, they might get David Njoku back, but it's a very easy second half of the season.
But that first half of the season, I mean, they could easily be 2-6 after 8 games.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal coming up here. And that is why this Sunday is so vitally important. They have 4 of their next 5 are on the road. Their only home game is against the Seattle Seahawks. 2 of those road games are against the Ravens and the Patriots, another one against the 49ers. So you're right. They have to stay afloat in these next 4 or 5 games.
The defense has been, I think, underrated. How would you assess the performance so far?
I agree with you 100%. They've played really, really well. If you look what they did against the Rams, I mean, this is the high-flying Rams who finished second in scoring last year, and this was a Cleveland Browns team that was down a starting linebacker and all 4 defensive backs. And they went out there and they almost beat the Rams, and they got 3 takeaways. So, yes, I do think the defense is underrated, and I don't think the Ravens have seen a defense like this year.
I also pointed this out with Freddie Kitchens, with Odell Beckham, with Baker Mayfield. This is a team that is so caught up in what people are saying about them. And I know you said, hey, Baker, maybe he needed this with what Rex Ryan said. But, my advice to Freddie Kitchens is just stop acknowledging any of this stuff. Just say, you know what, we're moving on. Subscribe to the Bill Belichick, playbook here when it comes to dealing with the media. But to listen to everything here, and this is how you start to have cracks in the armor with a team. With just play. You lost, and then you'll regroup. But it feels like they just continue to carry this baggage with them. Do you sense this when you go to those press conferences that every little thing seems to bother them?
Yeah, they talk a lot about blocking out the noise, but they don't block out the noise.
I know.
Right? I mean, they do talk a very good game in that way. Baker's never blocked out the noise. He's used the noise to his advantage. So that's never going to change with him. But I agree with you. In general, they do need to do a better job of just letting this stuff roll off their backs. But this is also a team that has talked big themselves. heading into this season, and that hasn't really helped them with some of the teams. The Titans, for instance, remember Delaney Walker heading into that opener and saying, we're sick of Cleveland this and Cleveland that. Well, the Ravens are saying some of the same things heading into this game, and I can assure you that John Harbaugh will use that as a rallying cry.
Mary Kay, thank you as always. We appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mary Kay Cabot covers the Browns for Cleveland Plain Dealer.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.